There's glitter in my eye. I'm filming a lot later than I originally intended because I haven't been well for like a week. It's not COVID and it's not a flu. It's like other personal health problems that I have. Hello, Francis. Welcome back to my channel. Ooh, I'm having a day. Anyway, also, my bangs are still in rough shape because I'm filming this like the day before I have my hair appointment. Okay, don't worry about it. Anyway, hello, Friendzies. Again, welcome back to my channel. The title, it's self-explanatory today. I want to talk about the fact that I'm turning 30, and I want to talk about just like general aging, I guess, and like personal experience, because I was kind of having a conversation with my best friend when we hung out pretty recently. We had a best friend day, like the second or third day of the year, which was just like, I needed that. First of all, I needed to see her because it had been like over a month since we had seen each other, and also just like the day we had was like really nice and refreshing, and like what a way to start the year. But we were having a conversation where I said something about like, I can't wait to turn 30. And she was like, oh, really? Because I think she has like some complicated feelings about aging and everything, which is like completely valid. I also fall victim to the propaganda that is nostalgia because I'm a person. And nostalgia, like, I think it's like a cultural thing too, specifically like in the United States. Nostalgia is like heavy. People use nostalgia for marketing, they use it for propaganda, they use it for like a lot of things. It really gets pushed at you, when the reality of nostalgia is like, it lies to you a lot of the time. We really only remember the good parts. And even then, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that a lot of good things that I remember are just the fact that like they're being put through like a rose-colored film while I'm looking back at them. We were talking about that and I was like, yeah, girl, I am excited to turn 30. Like, your 20s is for suffering. And she kind of laughed. She's like, oh yeah? And I was like, well, being a teenager is for being sad. Being in your 20s is for suffering and like remembering all of your interests you had when you were a teenager and reliving them. I'm excited to be 30 because I am excited to be 30. I don't know if I've said this on the channel here, but I felt like a difference in myself when I turned 16. That felt like, I think I felt very like mature when I turned 16. I had like my sweet 16 birthday. Like, I think a lot of that played into it. I felt different when I was 18. Something about 18 felt very like, I'm an adult. Not necessarily maturity, but it felt like, holy shit, I'm an adult now. I didn't feel any different until I turned 25. And I think a big part of that is because I don't drink. I'm very straight edge. Don't mind me. I'm just like this. There's no alcohol or drugs involved. I am just like this. But I didn't feel different until I was 25 because 21 didn't really like have a significance for me. But I turned 25 and I felt very like, my frontal lobe is developed. Oh my God, my frontal lobe is developed. And then all of those ages felt very like, the second I was 16, it was like, oh my God. Same thing with 18 and 25. It felt like an immediate click. But I've noticed from 28 to like turning 30, I have felt like a gradual kind of like, I'm ready for my 30s. I'm ready to be 30. The other thing about being like a woman and aging is like, again, I think it's a cultural thing. I think it's like specifically the United States. I'm sure it is like relevant in other cultures, but I only come from the United States, so I can't really speak on other cultures. But it like, youth is very like, let's be real, at 27, I was an old hag, especially because I'm fat and I hate men. So I was already like probably considered an old hag. But turning 30 is like so exciting for me, when like that's not supposed to be exciting. Women are supposed to be very afraid of aging. There's all of that like anti-age cream, like wrinkle remover, like blah, blah, blah. And I just don't care because I'm so excited. And I think maybe, and it's person to person. I know it's person to person. It's a very personal feeling. And again, I'm not immune to the propaganda of nostalgia. I will see, a good edit or like a good movie and be like, fuck, like, I miss high school. I don't miss high school. I don't miss anything about high school. I don't miss the youth of it, I guess. I don't miss, because that's just it. High school is glamorized, especially in America. But like, I was depressed as fuck. I didn't really have any friends. I kind of like bopped between friend groups, but I didn't really have any friends. A lot of that was my own fault, but I didn't really have too many friends. I was miserable, just like constantly. The schoolwork was so hard because I just never have had an interest. I love learning. I don't like American schools, and I never did. So I was never eager to really participate. I think back on like things that I still really enjoyed. I say all the time that like my junior year of high school was probably the best year of high school I had. And even then, I could tell you about 30 things that were wrong with that year. I realized my senior year, like right at the end of my senior year, that I had been in a depressive, like trapped in a depressive episode the entirety of my senior year. And then it didn't get better when I went to college. Like I've talked about like bits of this before, but I didn't want high school. I went to college thinking it was going to fix everything. It didn't fix everything. And then all of my 20s, because I got hired at my retail job that I worked at 19, all of my 20s were spent fucking miserable, being treated by like managers. A manager that was not even she was like 8 months older than me, pretended to be my friend, and then the second she got promoted, literally treated me like my abusive birth father treated me. The way she talked to me and the way she treated me, the only thing she didn't do that he did was like get this close to hitting me. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it was that bad. That's what I spent my 20s doing. I lived in a home that had like a horrible black mold problem. And a lot of my, mental health was already out the window, but a lot of my physical health was not good. And I really didn't realize that until we moved to this place where we don't have, knock on wood, we don't have a mold problem. And it's like, my 20s was in fact suffering. And again, the good part of my 20s, I would say, is again, like, you know, when you relearn the interests you had when you were a younger person and even a teenager. Like, I found K-pop again. I started getting back into K-pop. Like, Stray Kids became everything to me. Like, a lot of things came back to me that made all of that doable. Like, it made it okay for the most part, but I am excited to leave that. The last couple years of my 20s, too, have been significantly better than the rest of my 20s. And the thing is, I don't struggle. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, other than like mental health wise, there's not much in my life that's like a problem. There are little things that pop up here and there, but me personally, on my level, there's not like a lot of hardship for me. Especially not now. Like I said, now that I've left that job, we've left that home. We're no longer under like the state housing that made our life fucking miserable. There's like a lot of my family, a lot of family members were in like a better place. Me, my mom, and my brother, family glow up. My best friend, I was talking about this with one of my other best friends, and she said like family glow up. All three of us left a toxic relationship and a toxic home environment because we like how we lived, like I said, like with the mold and the state housing. All three of us left had a toxic relationship leave us, or we left it, and we left a toxic home environment at the same time. And all three of us have like gotten significantly better mentally, physically, with each other, just the vibes, everything, like everything's so much better now. And that's the end of my 20s. I'm so excited to be 30. I'm not saying 30 is going to change like everything like a switch. I'm not saying it's going to be like an immediate everything gets better, especially with the state of the world right now and where everything's going. And again, I said this in last week's video, like I don't know how to say this because I don't want to like frame it like, oh no, and now the white people are in danger. But you know, when a white woman is like, yeah, holy shit, things aren't good, that like probably we should pay attention to that. If you don't give a shit about any other person in the world, when white women are like, oh no, maybe we should pay attention a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make that sound not weird. I know that's still probably going to sound weird, but I hope you understand what I'm going for. I have to blow my nose. Yeah, I'm not saying turning 30 is gonna make everything magically like perfect for me, but I am finding as I'm getting older that I'm so much happier. Everything is feeling better, even if it's not getting better for me personally. I was in a whatever ship in the same time period that I was working at my shitty retail job. And I think the two of those compounded affected my mental health a lot. And I also think that a lot of the dating choices I made when I was in my 20s affected my mental health a lot. I also it's been like since October, November, but I finally realized that I am not in fact bisexual, which I thought I was from the time I was like 12 to we'll say like yeah, like November of this past year. I am actually a lesbian. And I think that's really helpful, and I think that did take the time and the aging to like realize. It took my straight friend Megan, my only straight friend in my like innermost circle, to make me realize that I was actually a lesbian, that I am actually a lesbian. So that's funny. I think that's hilarious. And I think that's just like the gift of aging. I think growing old and getting older are gifts. I know like health wise and mental health wise, like because I know like dementia and everything are things that people suffer with. And I know as you get older, like my mom is a prime example. My mom is not, I don't think she's like officially on paperwork, but my mom is disabled. She's in her She's turning 61 this year. Hi, mom, love you. But my mom is an older lady and she is disabled. And like my brother, like has a lot of disabilities. Again, I don't know if on paperwork, like medical paperwork, they're considered disabled, but they are. They are disabled people. Physically and mentally, I know like it's not sunshine and rainbows, but I feel like getting older is genuinely like a privilege and a gift. And especially for somebody like me who I've said stuff on and off my channel, but I didn't think I was going to make it. And I know I'm not like alone in that. I didn't think I was going to make it to teenager, let alone through my 20s. In my 20s, because I had such a horrible job that I constantly was like, I'm going to jump off the roof. I'm going to kill myself. Like all that stuff. It's not that I didn't think I was going to make it to 30, but I was like, I don't really see it happening. If I do it, it's going to be a miracle. So I think all that compounded, I'm just really excited. I'm excited to turn 30. I'm really excited for my birthday weekend, like specifically because of all the things I have planned with my friends and everything. But I am excited to be older. I'm excited to be a third decade older. And I think things can like really go up from here, from again, personal level, not like talking about other than outside of my little bubble. I can just see things getting better because now, and I hate to say it, but my mom was right. The different times she said like, you'll understand when you're older, you'll get it more when you're older. There are a lot of stuff I don't agree with her about that, but I do appreciate that I have a lot of life experience, that I have relationship experience, that I have experience with being in the workforce. I am thankful that I've lived all of this life and have this knowledge now, because like shit like this will not be happening again, especially the relationships. Yikes. Also, can I just say, in my 29, almost 30 years of living, I have never been allowed to have the crash out that I absolutely deserve. And again, I know I'm not like special for saying that. I know there's plenty of people that like deserve to have probably the biggest crash out they've ever had. But the things I have dealt with, especially in my 20s, and especially with my shitty job and my shitty relationship, I deserve to have much more of a crash out than I ever have in my life. And I'm just like, I used to say all the time when I would hear like little kids like screaming in the store, I'd be like, me too, bitch. When do I get to do that? When do I get to have like a full tantrum in the store? Because I deserve that. The way I left my job, my old retail job, I deserved, like I fully was validated if I wanted to pick up a chair and throw it across the room. 100%. Like if it was to the point where they were like, we need security to escort her off the premises, I would have deserved that. So maybe my 30s at some point I'll have a valid crash out. Maybe I should go to a rage room, but at the same time, I don't know if a rage room is enough. I think therapy would be enough, but I also don't have health insurance right now, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen with the state that we're in, so. And yeah, I don't know if other people agree with me or feel this way, or maybe you're watching this and being like, huh, she has a good point. Like, maybe I should reframe the way I think about aging. And honestly, like, I think it's something that you should consider, like sitting down. If you're somebody that's like, I don't want to get older, I feel like I'm not doing XYZ, I think maybe you should like sit down and just have like a moment with yourself and think about it. Because again, I'm so excited. I can't wait to be 30. I know there's a lot of things that I can work on to like better myself and like make things easier for myself and just like help my mental health. I know there's a lot of things I can do, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing okay. And the fact that I'm excited to keep going and getting older is like a really good sign. So if you're somebody that like struggles with it, maybe like you should sit down and really think about it and try to unpack that, because I'm so fucking hype. I can't wait. 30 30 feels big and scary, but at the same time it feels so exciting. I'm having a good time, and I will continue to have a good time. You know, the whole thing about like I'm here for a good time, not a long time, but like 30 is pretty long. Especially if you think about like, you know, back in the day when like people died at the ripe old age of childbirth, which was usually like 12 to 14. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. And I don't have kids at this point. And when my mom was my age, she had 2 young kids, was like this fucking close to a divorce, and had a baby on the horizon. She wasn't pregnant yet, but I was coming. I was on the way. And I simply cannot imagine. I think I said that in last year's video, like right before my birthday. I simply cannot imagine living that same life. And I'm so thankful that I don't have that same life. Maybe in a couple of years I'll think about babies, but right now, not concerned. I love being selfish. I love spending my money on myself. I love having a cat as my child and taking that very seriously. I love it. I'm having a great time with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments, let me know like how you feel about how old you're turning. If you are 30 or over, tell me how you felt about turning 30. I know that my aunt, hi Auntie Liz. I know that my aunt watches all of my videos. And I know that like she was in a similar position to my mom where she was already married, ? And like had kids. I know, and a lot of older ladies that like, you know, in my life and like that I've been around have similar stories where that's just it. They were like, I was already married and I already had blah, blah, blah kids. And again, love that for you guys, or like happy that you're out of that. I don't know, like congratulations or condolences. I'm not sure wherever you are in your life, but also couldn't be me. And you're so brave and sexy for going through that, whether it is positive or negative now. Still think you're very brave and sexy. Couldn't be me, mostly because I will never marry a man. So I'll see you guys in next week's video. What is next week's video? Is next week's video the birthday vlog? I'll be orange again. Like this will be redone by the time whatever the next week's video comes out. What other video is coming out this month? Oh, my like K-pop New Year's resolutions, my K-pop goals for the month. I think that's the vibe. Okay. See you then.